The small town of Scottsville, Kentucky, with a population of just over 4,000 people, was in a frenzy on that November night in 2015. The most anticipated football game of the year was about to begin, and the stands were packed with locals eager to watch their children and friends compete. Gabby Duan, a 7-year-old girl, was there with her parents to cheer for her older brother, one of the players on the school team. While the adults focused on the game, Gabby spotted her friends and quickly asked her mother for permission to go play with them, promising to stay nearby. Time passed as Gabby ran back and forth, occasionally returning to her mother and asking her father for money to buy snacks at the concession stand. Everything seemed normal until, in the blink of an eye, the girl vanished. Her friends, who had been playing hide and seek, ran to Gabby's mother with worried expressions. They reported that Gabby hadn't found them and, upon leaving their hiding spot to look for her, they couldn't find her anywhere. Anxiety quickly turned to panic as Gabby's mother frantically tried to locate her daughter. With the game paused for halftime, the stadium buzzed with murmurs as news of Gabby's disappearance spread. Her parents, now in despair, enlisted the help of friends and acquaintances to search the area, but there was no sign of the girl. The police were called immediately and began an intense search, but the festive atmosphere of the stadium quickly turned into palpable tension as people wondered what could have happened to the little girl. What no one knew was that the truth behind this disappearance was more horrifying than they could imagine. The Scottsville police, accustomed to dealing with minor offenses in a quiet town, now faced the most serious case of their careers. The investigation into Gabby's disappearance began with the questioning of everyone present at the stadium. The small community was shaken. Everyone knew Gabby and her family. While officers tried to maintain calm, rumors began to spread among those present, and the sense of safety that the town had always enjoyed started to unravel. Realizing they might be dealing with a possible abduction, the police decided to lock down the stadium, preventing anyone from leaving until they could question everyone. The decision was made in the hope that the culprit was still among them, perhaps blending into the crowd to escape. Meanwhile, search teams spread out over the area around the school, combing every corner, every shadow, hoping to find any clue about the girl's whereabouts. That night, the shadows of the trees seemed longer and more threatening. Every sound was amplified by the anxious silence that descended upon the town. Officers kept the lights on the baseball field, their flashlights piercing the darkness of the adjacent woods. When the search into the night led to the discovery of Gabby's body in a nearby creek, the horror of the situation fully revealed itself. The small town of Scottsville, once a refuge of tranquility, was now plunged into unimaginable tragedy. With the discovery of Gabby's body, the investigation quickly shifted from a missing person case to a homicide. The local sheriff, a man who knew every face and story in town, was forced to confront the reality that someone close could be responsible for this heinous crime. The girl's body showed clear signs of strangulation and violence, details the officers shared with Gabby's parents with as much care as possible. Initial investigations yielded no immediate suspects, but the police were determined to uncover the perpetrator. They began reviewing lists of local sex offenders, interviewing anyone who might have had connections to the family or who had been present at the game that night. Among those interviewed was Timothy Madden, a well-known local resident. Witness reports of his behavior that night placed him under suspicion, despite his clean record. Meanwhile, tension in the town continued to grow. People cast suspicious glances at each other, and even close friends began to wonder who could be responsible. Fear permeated every conversation, every interaction. And amid this atmosphere of distrust, the police knew they needed to act quickly before fear turned into collective hysteria. The investigation brought to light a disturbing detail about Timothy Madden. Despite being an apparently exemplary citizen, his proximity to the crime scene and his strange behavior raised suspicions. He was seen near the women's restroom shortly before Gabby disappeared, and some witnesses described him as agitated, distracted, as if carrying an invisible burden. Detectives went to Timothy's house for a formal conversation. When questioned about the night of the crime, he initially denied any involvement. But under pressure, his story began to change. Timothy admitted to having spoken with Gabby that night, but claimed he only saw her in passing, pointing her in the direction where her friends had run. This sudden change in his story only increased the investigators' suspicions. Gabby's family was devastated to hear the rumors about Timothy. They knew him well. Their families had been friends for years. Their children played on the same football team. The idea that someone so close could be involved was unbearable. But as evidence began to mount, it seemed increasingly likely that the monster who took Gabby's life was, in fact, within their circle of trust. The pressure to solve the case was intense. The forensic evidence collected at the crime scene was analyzed quickly, with DNA samples being compared to potential suspects. When the results finally came in, they revealed a truth that left the community in shock. The DNA found on Gabby's body matched Timothy Madden's, and the bloodstains on his clothes belonged to the girl. With these irrefutable proofs, the police confronted Timothy once again. During the interrogation, he remained calm, denying all accusations, but science did not lie. The evidence indicated that he was responsible for Gabby's terrible fate. The town was in an uproar. How could someone everyone knew and trusted have done something so horrific? As Timothy awaited trial, the town grappled with betrayal and pain. Trust was shattered, and many wondered how they could move forward after something so devastating. Gabby's family, still grieving, found some solace in the idea that the person responsible would face justice. But they knew the wound opened by their daughter's loss would never fully close. Timothy Madden's trial was a public spectacle. The courtroom was packed with Scottsville residents, all seeking justice for Gabby and eager to understand how someone they knew could be guilty of such a crime. The prosecutor presented the evidence meticulously, detailing every forensic discovery that linked Timothy to the crime scene. Witnesses, including Gabby's friends and family, were called to testify. They shared their memories of the night she disappeared and how Timothy's behavior stood out that fateful night. For many, it was painful to see someone they knew portrayed as a monster, but the evidence was compelling and left little doubt about his culpability. Timothy's defense tried to argue that he was being framed and that the evidence was inconclusive. However, the jury was not convinced. After days of deliberation, they reached a guilty verdict, sentencing Timothy Madden to life imprisonment. The town of Scottsville, still in mourning, finally found some closure, though the pain of losing Gabby would never be completely erased. Even after the verdict, the shadow of what happened continued to hang over Scottsville. In their grief, Gabby's family decided to turn their personal tragedy into something positive. They founded a non-profit organization dedicated to helping missing children and their families, using Gabby's memory as a beacon of hope and perseverance. The organization quickly grew, receiving support from the community and beyond. Events were organized to raise funds and awareness about the dangers that could lurk in seemingly safe communities. Gabby's story became a somber reminder that evil could be closer than we imagine, but also an inspiration for change and child protection. As Scottsville recovered, the town united in solidarity, determined to ensure that nothing like this would ever happen again. Gabby was remembered not just as the girl who lost her life tragically, but as a symbol of courage and resilience. Her family found some comfort in knowing that her legacy was making a difference in the lives of others. Time passed, and slowly, the town of Scottsville began to regain its sense of normalcy. The emotional scars of Gabby's case remained, but the community was more united and vigilant than ever. Her story was told and retold, not just as a tragedy but as a cautionary tale about the dangers that could lurk where we least expect them. Gabby's family continued to fight for justice for other families, helping bring light to cases of missing children and ensuring that their stories were not forgotten. The organization they created became a powerful force in the fight against the disappearance and exploitation of children, turning the pain of loss into a mission of love and protection. Meanwhile, Scottsville remains vigilant, aware of the lessons learned from the tragedy. The town that was once known only for its fields and football games was now seen as an example of resilience and determination. The memory of Gabby Duan, the girl whose smile lit up everyone's day, would live forever in the hearts of those she touched, inspiring change and bringing hope to an often dark world. So, how do you feel after learning about Gabby and Scottsville's story? Stories like this remind us that evil can hide where we least expect it, but they also show us the importance of coming together as a community to protect those we love. Are you ready to make a difference in your community? Think about the measures you can take to ensure your town, neighborhood, and even your home are safe places. How can you become more vigilant and aware of what is happening around you? Who are the people around you who might need your help and support? Can we learn from these tragedies and turn them into lessons for a safer future? If Gabby's story touched you, how can it touch others and inspire them to act? Maybe you can be the change agent who transforms fear into strength and distrust into solidarity. If this story impacted you and you want to continue exploring cases like this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate notifications so you don't miss any new videos. Here on Channel Name, we are committed to bringing stories that not only inform but also inspire action and change. Your participation is essential, so share your opinions in the comments and let's continue this important discussion. Together, we can create a safer and fairer world. Welcome to Spooky Stories. I'm Milo, your guide through the chilling and the unknown. Here, we dive into terrifying tales that will keep you on the edge of your seat. Join our community of thrill seekers, and let's explore the darkness together. Meet Sarah. Like many of us, she used to dread bedtime. Hours spent tossing and turning, waking up groggy and irritable, and worst of all, her relentless snoring that not only disturbed her sleep, but her partner's as well. Desperate for a solution, Sarah tried everything. New mattresses, white noise machines, even sleeping pills. Nothing worked until she discovered our breathing for sleep routine. One particularly frustrating night, Sarah stumbled upon an article about the power of breathing to improve sleep. Skeptical but willing to try anything, she read about our breathing for sleep routine. A simple, scientifically backed method designed to clear sinuses, enhance breathing, and eliminate oxygen blockades. It promised to guide users through a simple breathing routine for the best sleep of their lives. Intrigued, she decided to give it a shot. As she began the routine, Sarah immediately felt her sinuses clear. She followed the step-by-step guide, learning how to breathe deeply and correctly. Within minutes, she noticed a significant difference. Her breathing was smoother, more relaxed. That night, she fell asleep faster than she had in years and, incredibly, stayed asleep all night. One of the most astonishing benefits was the end of her snoring. The routine included a simple breathing hack that stopped her snoring in minutes. Sarah learned that her habit of mouth breathing was activating her survival mode, preventing her from achieving truly restful sleep. By switching to nasal breathing, she deactivated this mode and allowed her body to fully relax. The next morning, Sarah woke up feeling refreshed and rejuvenated. She couldn't remember the last time she felt so well rested. Her partner noticed the difference too. No more middle-of-the-night disruptions from her snoring. The transformation was remarkable, and Sarah knew she had found something special. Sarah's story is not unique. Many others have discovered the life-changing benefits of our breathing for sleep routine. Imagine falling asleep quickly, sleeping soundly through the night, and waking up feeling fully rested. No more snoring, no more grogginess, just deep, restorative sleep. Are you ready to transform your sleep like Sarah did? Our breathing for sleep routine is easy to follow and starts working immediately. Clear your sinuses, enhance your breathing, and remove oxygen blockades with our guided routine. Say goodbye to snoring and hello to the best sleep of your life. Check out the link for this wonder in the description and the comments.